Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, this is the Daily Deucey podcast. Today is Friday, February 19th, Pizza Day. Got some more snow and ice coming down. It's still kind of shitty. Went out to shovel and barely could actually shovel anything because it's mostly ice. And apparently we still got a basketball game tonight, which is good and also a little scary if the guy bus driver drives. So let's touch on this before we actually get into the day's news here. So I coach high school basketball. Not going to say where because this is a satire podcast and nothing that I say is applicable to anything that I do outside the podcast. But driving on the school bus with someone else driving, I guess I didn't realize how fucking petrifying that was when I was a kid. But now that I can drive and I have to actually be wary of the shit going on in the bus and I have no control over driving the bus, it is fucking horrifying. And the bus drivers are fine. They drive fine, but I don't really like not being in control of a big, gigantic moving vehicle that I'm in. Especially, God bless those fucking kids from Paramus that got hurt last year, a couple of years ago. Is that fucking unbelievably atrocious. But I don't think we give enough tests and kind of thought into who we have driving the buses for these fucking kids. You see fucking people shooting dope and fucking driving their buses and shit. So we need to look into that. But a continuing kind of theme on the old podcast we have here is government doing whatever the fuck they want, but not good for the people. Cryin Ted, which is great. Like, Trump just eviscerated this guy. And Cryin Ted Cruz admits it was a mistake to jet off to Cancun resort as leaked texts show wife wanted to flee freezing Texas. Yeah, I bet a lot of people want to fucking flee freezing Texas, you fucking idiot. Republican Senator Ted Cruz has admitted his Cancun getaway was a mistake as texts revealed his wife wanted to flee freezing Texas. After dashing to a luxury resort in Mexico, Cruz landed back in Texas yesterday and had a police escort at the airport, where protesters held signs stating 24 dead from the winter storm. These fucking pictures of him, he looks like an idiot, dude. What a goofball. I feel bad for like his kids and shit like that. And they have to have like extra police footage as security here. He looks like the fucking what is it? Not Capricorn killer, the Zodiac killer. He does really look like the fucking Zodiac killer. And then somehow they got screenshots of. See, this is coming from Heidi Cruz. So somebody within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Somebody within this chat group sold them the fuck out, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, somebody you're texting is going to send this shit to the fucking news. Now, if their phones were fucking hacked, that's a whole different fucking story. So Heidi Cruz sends fucking text messages about a flight and the hotel that they're saying $309 a night plus tax at the Ritz-Carlton. She goes, "Are you guys warm enough? We have a fireplace. Let us know. Our house is freezing though. Our house is freezing though is why we stayed with blah, blah, blah last night. Couldn't stand it anymore. Cancun, Cabo, even Boston sounds amazing. I would love to go, but it's not freezing under the down comforter with hot chilies and a hoodie. And sadly, I can't leave blank or my mother-in-law." So they're like begging people to come with them in a fucking storm where the entire state doesn't have any power. So trust me, it's not Republican. So say what you want about Trump and his people and his party. It's really funny. I will say this, how so many people were saying like Trump's going to start his own party. He's going to start his own news network. He's going to do all these things. And I haven't heard a peep from Trump since all this shit's been fucking over. I don't really think he gives a fuck about any of it anymore. He wants to stay the fuck away from it. Now, his kids are fucking jerking around, like all this stuff is going on, but I haven't heard anything from Trump. And at this point, I highly doubt that he's going to make his own party. He's going to do fucking anything, at least not for a while. But that being said, The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both finished. It's about time we have a new system, or at least new parties or multiple parties available, because the Democrats are terrible. They rigged the election not against Trump, but against their own candidates. Why do you think Kamala was the first person to drop out? It's almost like she knew what was going to go on. And then you see Mayor Pete and Bernie and some of these other people with monstrous leads. Biden was in like 4th place at some points, closing in on Super Tuesday. And then all of a sudden they just drop out. And like literally the only one left was fucking Biden. And Bernie didn't really want to. Why do you think those pictures at the fucking inauguration were like that? He wasn't fucking happy. Bernie should be the fucking president. Yet we allowed a corporate fucking takeover by the same fucking double-headed fucking beast that we always do. Protesters also congregated outside the senator's house in a plush Houston neighborhood. Speaking to reporters outside the house, he admitted he made a mistake and insisted he was just trying to be a dad. Oh, so you're pushing the blame off to your kids, basically, right? I was trying to be a dad, and all of us have made decisions when you've got 2 girls who've been cold for 2 days and haven't had heat or power, and they're saying, look, we don't have school. Why don't we go? Let's get out of here. Yeah, asshole. Do you think the fucking poor people in Houston wouldn't love to fucking tell their daughters who are freezing, let's just go on a fucking trip to Cancun? What are we fucking talking about? How do you... This is how disconnected these fucking jerk-offs are. On the right and on the left. He thought he was going to connect to people by saying, well, hey man, my daughters really were cold, so we wanted to get out of here and go on fucking vacation in the middle of a fucking pandemic and the fucking snowstorm that Texas has never seen before. So you're a fucking senator or whatever the fuck you are, and you want to be the fucking president. That means you have to put the fucking people ahead of yourself and your family. What are we talking about? Asked directly of what he was thinking, Cruz replied, you question what I was thinking, and I was trying to take care of my family. How about you take care of your constituents? Like, of course you take care of your family, but jettisoning them off to fucking Mexico for vacation, they would have been okay in fucking Houston if they would have been cold for a couple days, like the millions of other fucking people in your state who are fucking freezing, who can't fucking go off to Cancun. It was not my intention in saying yes to my daughter somehow diminishing all the Texans were going. Okay, regardless if that was your fucking intention, that's what happened, babe. Fucking clown, dude. The senator expressed his regret. A text message obtained by the son emerged showing his wife planning the Cancun trip to escape the bitterly cold. Yeah, it's fucking shitty, dude. We were supposed to go to Cabo Friday. What fucking clowns, dude. Clowns. Heidi wanted her family to stay at the Ritz-Carlton and noted the room was $309 per night. She texted a group chat to say Cruz's home was freezing and invited others to fly to Ritz-Carlton where they had stayed many times. Heidi, who is a managing director at Goldman Sachs, are you guys warm enough? We have a fireplace. Let us know. Our house is freezing. So, does that last line right there not kind of just explain this whole thing? We are run by these finance people. Like, how much does Goldman Sachs have on fucking Ted Cruz if his wife is fucking a fucking executive at Goldman Sachs? And not for nothing, we're going to end on this, and I'm going to straight call Ted Cruz a fucking cuck, because Trump called your wife ugly straight up. Like, and you didn't do shit. Like, that was over the line. You should have walked up to fucking Trump and had to be fucking separated or punched him in the fucking face. Ted Cruz is kind of a bitch. Sorry. Moving on, Deucey crypto update 12:09 p.m. Bitcoin at 54,394, just under 5% for the day. Ethereum 1953, 1.91% for the day. Ripple just under 5% for the day at 56 cents. And we have Doge. literally one of the only ones that's not up for the day, down 8.26%. Now, kind of a little touch on this because this gets really kind of technical per se, so I'm not going to really go too much on this. Ripple's XRP sales suppressed coin price, amended court complaint alleges. The SEC alleges that Ripple executives misled investors and manipulated the XRP coin price by creating an information vacuum. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has alleged that Ripple Labs executives Bradley Garlinghouse and Christian Larson manipulated the XRP price by ramping up or slowing down their coin sales depending on market conditions. In an amended complaint filed February 18th, the plaintiff, the U.S. SEC, reiterated its stance that Ripple Labs, Christian Larson, and Brad Garlinghouse violated security laws with the sale of XRP coins starting in 2013. From at least 2013 through the present, defendants sold over 14.6 billion units of a digital asset security called XRP in return for cash or other considerations worth over 1.38 billion US dollars to fund Ripple's operations and enrich Larson and Garlinghouse. The complaint claims that Ripple received legal advice as early as 2012 that its coin could represent a security offering, and it chose to ignore it. So they were getting warnings and legal advice 9 years ago about this. The complaint describes an instance 2015 where one of Ripple's market makers, whom it also paid in XRP, temporarily halted the sale of Garlinghouse and Larson's XRP holdings because the coin price was already falling. According to the filing, Larson directed the market maker to keep sales paused for now and wait until the market had recovered from this mistake. Well, let's see what their reply is. General counsel at Ripple, Stuart Alderoty, said he was disappointed by the SEC's late attempt to bring action against Ripple Labs after years of inaction. On February 18th, Alderoty said the latest amended complaint raised nothing new, reiterating that only one legal question remains to be settled. As many of you seen, the SEC filed an amendment complaint today. The only legal claim remains: did certain distributions of XRP constitute an investment contract? Disappointing. The SEC needed to try to fix their complaint after waiting years to bring it in the first place. Okay, so that's kind of where I'll stop there. I'm still holding my Ripple. It's been going up, and I hope that they either settle this lawsuit or the SEC just drops it overall. It doesn't sound like that if they're making amended claims after years. But that being said, Ripple had stayed pretty close to these other coins for a while. So if it comes out that Ripple ends up winning this lawsuit, Ripple's going to shoot up to the fucking moon. We were at $2. I think it's got a $2 all-time high, maybe $4 at some point. But like, if we get to that area, we'll be sitting real pretty. Now, continuing this fucking theme of government not really giving a fuck about the people, NJ legal weed could come within days or months. Here's how it can happen. It's been 107 days since New Jerseyans, more than 2/3 of them, voted to legalize marijuana. But due to protracted, sometimes heated negotiations and disagreements among legislators, legislative leaders, and Governor Phil Murphy, weed remains just as illegal in New Jersey as it was before Election Day. And we're going to continue on this, but what the fuck do they have to do with it? Step the fuck aside. The government couldn't get their shit together to pass this prior to the fucking elections multiple times. So the people finally made their voices heard. An overwhelming 2/3 majority of them. And you fucking still can't get your shit together. You know what? How about you just fucking make it legal and let the companies fucking take care of it? The people in our government, in this state mostly, and in the country mostly, are inept and incapable of doing their jobs. And we need to start voting these people out more and more and more. But the problem is, we are so divided in this planet right now that we'll always have people fucking backing these idiots on both sides just because they go against the other guy. And that is the biggest problem we have. In December, the legislature passed 2 bills to decriminalize and legalize marijuana, but those bills have sat on Murphy's desk as he awaits a cleanup bill to address what he's identified as a major flaw. What's the state going to do about kids and weed? The last thing we need is more kids getting tangled up in the criminal justice system. You know what? Then don't fucking smoke weed or drink alcohol underage. But critics say any police oversight leaves black youths in particular exposed to police actions. Studies show they are far likelier than other groups to be stopped by police and arrested on marijuana charges. There have been numerous versions of a cleanup bill, all of which have been stopped in their tracks by Murphy or other legislators who said they wouldn't vote for it. You know what? It's none of your fucking business. The people voted for it, and it should go through. There's still a chance that a final compromise bill will be agreed upon, signed into law, and sent to Murphy's desk, giving him the 3-bill package he's requested. The Senate Judiciary Committee will meet for the 3rd time this week on Friday afternoon in hopes of advancing such a bill to a full Senate vote. By next week, we'll know what's next for legal weed in the Garden State. What if Murphy does nothing? Per state law, if the law is passed but remains unsigned for 45 days, it becomes law at the next quorum. Except people have been fucking pushing back the fucking quorums. That's why this is all bullshit. And that's why blockchain, when it eventually takes over, will be so much far more advanced than this, because we have laws. It's, okay, 45 days, it will become law at the next quorum. But then they just move the fucking quorum twice. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The deadline can be rescheduled and already has before. Coughlin has twice pushed back the quorum call from February 5th to February 18th and now to February 22nd. What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? We voted on something direct and specific, and the government officials still can't get their shit together. It's like embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing, and it's just upsetting. It's just upsetting because it's just another example of the government saying, well, no, we know what to do for you, and you're not going to be able to do any of this shit, just like Corona, just like smoking fucking weed. We voted on something and it was passed. I don't understand why we put up with this shit of allowing politicians to just do whatever the fuck they want with no repercussions. We shouldn't put up with it. Onto the Deucey entertainment section. China eyes virtual production techniques used in The Mandalorian to help local film industry catch up to Hollywood in visual effects. A new visual effects approach for film production, which proved its worth in the new Star Wars franchise The Mandalorian, is inspiring production companies in mainland China and Hong Kong to experiment with the technology in hopes of making it mainstream for future local productions. The Mandalorian, the titular bounty hunter in the Disney live-action series, moves between desert landscapes and futuristic interior environments, but the scenes were not shot on location, on a movie set, or using a green screen. Now, this shit does blow my mind a little bit. So, as you can see, I have no background here. I don't even want to turn it off because then you'll see how fucking messy my shit is. Actually, it's not too bad. So, maybe I'll turn this off and turn it back on. Camera, background removal. Oh my God, terrible. I'll turn it back on. See, I can do that. Now, I have a pretty diesel computer and graphics card and everything, but I can do that pretty easily. Now, I don't even have a green screen here, as you can see. It's just the rest of my office. But this kind of idea doesn't use a green screen or a movie set or wasn't shot on location. They were filmed in front of a giant LED wall display that could project an imaginary world as one that appears real to the audience. So basically, there's a huge fucking monitor, like a wall of monitors, or one monitor. I don't even know how that works. And then they basically make a video game, life-size. I can only imagine what that fucking resolution is. Holy shit. And then you do the acting and interaction in front of the screen. Honestly, it's fucking genius, because we're getting to the point where CGI is going to be, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between CGI and regular. So it makes sense. You might only need 1 or 2 actors from now on. known as virtual production, that the digital backgrounds are generated in real time by a powerful computing game engine, allowing filmmakers to combine live action footage with visual effects in real time. It's almost certainly Unreal Engine too. The technology could revolutionize filmmaking because real-world settings can be replaced. China, with more than 20 billion yuan, $4.1 billion of box office revenue in 2020, is known for its theme parks across the country that doubles as locations for film shoots. In the town of Hangjian in China's eastern province of Zhejiang, for instance, the so-called movie city built a replica of the Forbidden City for filmmaking. Virtual production technology also offers Chinese filmmakers a chance to catch up with their Hollywood counterparts by lowering the technology and production thresholds for sci-fi spectaculars such as Avatar. Okay, so this is bad news for Hollywood. Not for regular people who want to see good content, but just like the internet is kind of commoditizing, entertainment and everything, it's going to be the same thing with this high-end AI and graphics and things like that. Like, if anyone can make these things for exponentially less money, the whole Hollywood idea is fucking half in the bag, dude. Like, all these big sound studios and everything in Hollywood that they used to shoot all this crazy shit on, you don't need any of that anymore. As a matter of fact, it's a debilitating factor now because you spend so much money on this shit that you're going to have to try to charge even more for the films. And lower and lower and lower and lower costs in creating content are going to keep going. Because, again, just as we spoke about with the ridiculous fucking commercials that Bergen County spent $500,000 on, you could get kids to make better fucking commercials with their iPhones. So all these ideas, that's why I have my general theme of just California and Hollywood and all that is just completely over. It's because things are going to catch up to them. And they're going to make movies in other places, just like where LA and New York are going to be dead for comedy now. The same thing's going to happen over and over. So all these countries and states and cities that held on their laurels as like some fucking powerhouse, I hope you've been working on some new projects, babe, because giving us the same movie over and over and over and just taking little pieces of other movies and making movies out of them is not going to cut it in the long fucking form. And they had mentioned something, I'm going to end on this. They mentioned something on the Flagrant 2 Schultz's podcast. And they were talking about making another Disney movie, but putting a black princess in it, like when they did with the fucking Little Mermaid. Like, how about you just write a new fucking story with a black protagonist? Like, what's the problem? Are you like, have we just completely run up all the literary talent where we just have to do the same shit over and over and over? It's I want to say sickening, but I don't know if it's really that sickening, but it's just whack. We'll end with that. Hollywood is whack.